Here today we're going to go over some of the optics. Probably for hunting, it's right up there in as far as the most expensive part of your equipment. It doesn't have to be, but it often is. And I'm going to go over what I use for glassing with my spotting scopes as well as my binoculars, the tripod, the head setups, the covers, and the scopes themselves, the optics. And I've had some off-brand optics before, and they work. And you can, go to Walmart and get what you want, and it'll be perfect. It'll no, not perfect, but it'll get you what you need done. But the problem with the cheaper grade optics, if you spend a lot of time behind the glass, is you can get a headache. It can start to really strain your eyes, strain to see and to focus out there at distance, which is what the optics are supposed to do for you. And some optics work better in low light, which are the best times to hunt. Early morning and late evening, just before the sun comes up fully and just before it goes down. And that's where the higher end optics really, in my opinion, excel and justify the extra cost. If you're going to go on one hunt a year, don't spend the money if you don't have it on high-end optics. Spend it on, boots or your weapon or a jacket or something that'll allow you to stay out and hunt longer. But if you hunt multiple hunts and you hunt multiple states and you hunt in areas and scenarios where you need optics that can see far out there, like maybe hunting out west for mule deer, that are up higher and you're up higher in your glassing basins, then the optics really pay because it keeps you from having to walk those miles. You can glass those miles, and it keeps you from having to wear yourself out to not have anything be in that basin or that draw or on that ridge in the first place. So optics, get what you can afford, get the best that you can afford, but know the kind of hunt if you're hunting whitetail in the Midwest in thick trees, you just need binoculars. You don't need a spotting scope at all. If you're hunting elk and you're running elk out west where they're in the timber all the time, I don't carry a spotting scope when I hunt elk, whether it's Idaho or Utah. I will just take my binoculars. It's all that I need. But if I'm going to go mule deer hunting in certain places, especially when I'm scouting for animals where I don't want to put as many miles on my boots, miles on the ground, then I'll take the spotting scopes out for some of those hunts. So let's get into it. First of all, let's look over here. This is my Swarovski, and this is a 20 by 60 by 65. And this is perfect for me for backpacking if I'm going to go mule deer hunting and I'm going to hike in and pack and camp in a tent or whatnot. This is a great spotting scope. It is mounted on a Schofield carbon fiber tripod, which is super light and packable, and it goes down to like 14 inches and has like a 4 or 5 inch diameter, fits inside my backpack perfect. And it is set up on a Siri head, and it is a fluid type head. And what I mean by that is you can get a ball head where it pivots on a ball, and those are great, and a lot of people like those. Those pack really small. But I find that you get dirt and you get grit in that, and after a while it isn't as smooth. This is really what photographers will use. You can see the smoothness of this head and how it at whatever angle. And when I spot for animals, I will start at the top of a ridge and I will pan all the way across that ridge real slow, much slower than what I am, and then I will move my scope down to the next level and I will pan all the way across, and this is called gridding. And then I will come down again and do the same thing. So you want a head that stays in position and is super smooth. So this is my packable system, my 20 by 60 by 65, which means it has a 65 objective lens. The eyepiece is a 20 by 60 power. Over here is the big boy, and this is my Swarovski. This is it was a 20 by 60 by 80. I opted to switch out the eyepiece to a 25 by 50 I went down in power, but I also went wider, and it gives me a wider field of view. And I like this eyepiece the best, and this 80 will reach out there. And the difference between the two is edge-to-edge clarity, and obviously how far out it can reach and still be clear. This is a bigger objective, an 80 versus a 65. This is mounted up on a ProMaster carbon fiber. It's called a 525C if you're interested, tripod. Super lightweight. This one will allow a 6'6" man to use it. This one here is a smaller version, and I'm only 5'8", so I use the smaller version because it's lighter and more compact, and it works for me. But if somebody was 6 foot, they would have to bend way down to look through the eyepiece. But most of the time when we're glassing, we're sitting down anyways. Every now and then we'll quick set it up and we'll look through to see something out there. But a lot of times when you're glassing, especially when you're gridding, you're going to be sitting down, you're going to be comfortable. So you don't need the tall tripod. This is the Manfrotto head that this scope sits on, and it is also a fluid head, as you can see, and very, very smooth. And again, it stays where it's supposed to be. Great system, and it is called the Be-Free, is what it is. Manfrotto Be-Free head. Both of these have a protective scope cover on it called a scope skin. And the reason for that is I want these things cost enough money to where I want to be able to keep them as nice as I can, as long as I can, if I ever want to upgrade. And plus, I just like to protect my equipment. When you're hunting in the back country, stuff just gets damaged quite a bit. So, for the taller people, this one I use if we're going to go out scouting from the truck, because it's a bigger, heavier setup. This is one if I'm going to backpack in and I'm going to be hunting. It'll do everything this will do. It just doesn't reach out there quite as far, though. It's got a more powerful 60 range versus a 50. This one has got a wider view, so it allows me to actually see more, and then the 80 lens makes up for the difference. So it's a juggling match what you want. Now, my favorite optic of all is my Swarovski, and these are my SLC 1042 binoculars. They weigh nothing. I do not wear them around a strap. I have a chest rig, Alaska Guide Creation bino harness, where they sit right in, and they're always inside of a case. And I have lens covers when I'm out scouting, but if I'm ever out hunting, they go in there and the lens covers come off. These are excellent, super lightweight, super will reach out there. I use these for elk hunting. In fact, I'm elk hunting right now. Well, not right now, I'm doing a video, but I'm down. I'll be going back out again tomorrow morning. But I don't take these spotting scopes when I'm going elk hunting, even though I'm carrying my backpack and we're going in. I just carry these because we're in thick timber. So that is the system that I use for optics. I have had Vortex binos and Vortex spotting scope, and I think they're a great buy. They have a lifetime warranty. Doesn't matter if you bought it used or new. If you destroy those Vortex optics, they will replace it with the same quality. If they don't make that model that you bought used or new, they will upgrade to the next closest model, no questions asked. You can't beat that. However, I was hunting in Arizona for mule deer a few years ago, I think 3 years ago, and my binoculars I was using in the adjustment, the focus knob broke. And the warranty was great. They covered it, free, fixed it, free, didn't cost me anything. However, I couldn't use them the rest of my hunt. So even though the warranty on optic system like Vortex is great, nobody's got a better warranty. I don't want to have to use a warranty if I don't have to, and that's the reason I went with Swarovski. I have yet to have an issue. I've been running these for a couple years now, and I bought all of this used except for the vinyls. The only thing I bought new, and I saved a lot of money by doing that, and those deals are out there if you can get them. Again, the big 80, the small 65, backpack setup, scouting from a vehicle. I know some guys that hike in with this, and hey, that's a lot of weight you're carrying. I forget the overall weight, but the Siri head, and it's got the nice Schofield tripod, the Manfrotto Be-Free head with the awesome ProMaster carbon fiber tripod. Great setups. Those are my optic systems that I've been running for both elk and deer. out here out west.